It's good to be here. It's good to be with you all. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar, Paramhansa Yogananda, saints and sages of all religions, friend and guide Swami Kriyananda. Open our hearts and minds to your guiding presence. Help us to see who we truly are, your children, one with you. Om. Peace. Amen. And now we'll have a chant. Or chants. We'll take a chance?
Yeah.
One of them.
Desire, my great enemy, with his soldiers surrounding me, is giving me lots of trouble. Oh, my Lord, is giving me lots of trouble. Oh, my Lord, that enemy I will deceive, remaining in the castle of peace, night and day in my joy, oh my Lord, night and day in my joy, oh my Lord. What will be my fate, oh Lord, tell me. Pranayam be thy religion, Pranayam will give thee salvation. Pranayam is the wishing tree. Pranayam is the wishing tree. Pranayam is beloved God. Pranayam is creator Lord. Pranayam is the cosmic world. Pranayam is the cosmic world. Control the little pranayam. Become a pervading pranayam. You won't have to fear anything anymore. You won't have to fear anything anymore. Desire, my great enemy, with his soldiers surrounding me, is giving me lots of trouble. Oh, my Lord, is giving me lots of trouble. Oh, my Lord, that enemy I will deceive, remaining in the castle of peace, night and day in thy joy. Oh, my Lord, night and day in thy joy. Oh, my Lord, what will be my fate? Oh, Lord, tell me. Pranayam be thy religion. Pranayam will give thee salvation. Pranayam is the wishing tree. Pranayam is the wishing tree. Control the little pranayama. Become a pervading pranayama. You won't have to fear anything anymore. You won't have to fear anything anymore. Night and day and night joy, oh my love. Night and day and night joy, oh my love. You won't have to fear anything anymore. You won't have to fear anything anymore. Night and day and night joy, oh my love. Night and day and night joy, oh my love. You won't have to fear anything anymore. You won't have to fear anything anymore. Desire, my great enemy, with his soldiers surrounding me, is giving me lots of trouble, oh my Lord. He is giving me lots of trouble, oh my Lord. That enemy I will deceive, remaining in the castle of peace. Night and day and night joy, oh my Lord. Night and day and night joy, oh my Lord. What will be my fate? Oh Lord, tell me. Pranayam be thy religion. Pranayam will give thee salvation. Pranayam is the wishing tree. 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 Pranayam is beloved God. Pranayam is Creator Lord. Pranayam is the cosmic word. Pranayam is the cosmic word. Control the little pranayam. Become a pervading pranayam. You won't have to fear anything anymore. You won't have to fear anything anymore. Night and day, in night joy, oh my Lord. Night and day, in night joy, oh my Lord. You won't have to fear anything anymore. You won't have to fear anything anymore. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord. Thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord. So do thou, my Lord. Thou and I never apart. Thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord. Thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving 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 the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord. Thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. 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 I am the bone, make me the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. I am the bone, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve.
We'll take a minute now for meditation, going deep as quickly as we can, because we'll just do this for a few minutes. Take the inspiration of those chants. Open your hearts and minds. God is present here and within you. Stay centered in meditation. Hear these words on patience by Swami Kriyananda. Patience, it has been well said, is the shortest path to God. To attune the heart to the rhythms of eternity, one must first adjust himself to life's longer rhythms. He should not allow his mind to become absorbed in concentration on the little ripples at the surface of the sea. Patience means also adjusting to whatever is in life, rather than wishing it were something else. Patience is a prerequisite for every type of success. For when we work with things as they are, it's then we can change them to whatever we might like them to be. Repeat now this affirmation, first with a full voice, and then with great energy, but a quieter voice as you go within. I am neither the ripples at the surface of the sea, nor yet the crashing waves. I am the vast ocean deeps, unaffected by mighty surface storms, untouched by any superficial change. I am neither the ripples of the surface of the sea, nor yet the crashing waves. I am the vast ocean deeps, unaffected by mighty surface storms, untouched by any superficial change. And now in a whisper, I am neither the ripples at the surface of the sea, nor yet the crashing waves. I am the vast ocean deeps, unaffected by mighty surface storms, untouched by any superficial change. And now silently, with great intensity, I am neither the ripples at the surface of the sea, nor yet the crashing waves. I am the vast ocean deeps, unaffected by mighty surface storms, untouched by any superficial change. Pray silently with me. Long have I called thee, Lord, but thou hast not answered me. Ah, but for what long eons didst thou endure my fickleness? In this life, Lord, and if need be, throughout eternity, I will keep calling thee. Om. Peace. Amen. Before I go to the raise reading, I just have to do a little commentary on this image used here about the difference between what's happening at the surface of the sea and what's happening in the depths of the sea. Over by Greenland, there are a lot of icebergs. And interestingly, sometimes the small icebergs are going this way and the big icebergs are going the other way. And you wonder why that would be. But the big icebergs go way deep, and their traveling is mostly affected by the ocean currents. The smaller icebergs are far more affected by the winds. So the winds go this way, the little ones go that way, the winds come this way, the little ones come that way. The big icebergs, they're going where they're going based on the deep current. And I think when we connect to the deep current, we're more likely to go the way we're supposed to go. So be deep icebergs, I guess. Yeah, no, that's it's an interesting thing, an interesting phenomenon, but it's also true in life. The people who are deep, they travel unaffected by the winds and the waves. They're going where they're going. The reading from Rays of the One Light is a weekly commentary on the Bible in the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Kriyananda. This is week 13, Deeds versus Intentions. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teaching of Paramahansa Yogananda. Jesus Christ emphasized repeatedly the spirit, not the letter of the law. In chapter 5 of the Gospel of St. Matthew, he speaks of the sin of killing and of the legal punishment attendant on that sin, but says that more important than the act is the desire to kill or to do harm. He shows that the sin of harmful desire goes beyond merely wanting to kill. Jesus says, "My message to you is this: whoever is angry with his brother without cause already stands condemned. Whoever contemptuously calls his brother a fool shall answer for it to the Supreme Council, and whoever calls his brother an outcast of God shall be in danger of hellfire." Brother here means any other human being. For all of us are in the highest sense brothers and sisters, children of our one Father, Mother, God. The true self of one is the self of all. To hurt another, even if one doesn't realize it, is to hurt oneself. Swami Kriyananda in The Path recalls an episode in which the master Paramahansa Yogananda revealed his sense of identity even with the plants. One day, Swami Kriyananda wrote, we were moving a delicate but rather heavy tropical plant into position on the hillside. Our handling was evidently too rough, for Master cried out, "Be careful what you're doing. Can't you feel it's alive?" To wish death to anyone, to wish even harm to another creature, is to deny in oneself the reality of that divine life, of which all of us are manifestations. It is, in short, to deny the eternal truth proclaimed by the Bhagavad Gita in the 2nd chapter. The self is never born, nor does it perish. Once existing, it cannot ever cease to be. It is birthless, eternal, changeless, ever itself. It is not slain when the body is slain. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om, Om.
Thank you, Nirmoha.
You're welcome.
And
I've got a reading now from Whispers from Eternity, and then we'll have a chant. This is Open My Inner Eye. Open my inner eye, O fountain of light, that I may behold thee in the dance of myriad-hued atoms. Burst open the doors of space, that I may see thee behind the mists of the illusion of matter. Thou dost hide behind the walls of thy brilliant cosmic rays. Open the portals, that I may see thee everywhere. Hear that again. Open my inner eye, O fountain of light, that I might behold thee in the dance of myriad-hued atoms. Burst open the doors of space, that I may see thee behind the mists of the illusion of matter. Thou dost hide behind the walls of thy brilliant cosmic rays. Open the portals, that I may see thee everywhere.
how fitting that Divine Mother told me to do this song today. Long I've called you, my Lord. Long I've called you. Many years I have longed for your sight. Bathe the darkness with tears of devotion. Offered candles in prayer to your light. How much longer, friend, must I cry your name? I am yours, ever yours. Will you come? Long I've called you, my Lord. Long I've called you. Many years I have longed for your sight. Bathe the darkness with tears of devotion. Offered candles in prayer to your light. How much longer, friend, must I cry your name? I am yours, ever yours. Will you come?
Wow, thank you so much, Sam. We'll meditate just for a short time now. Call to the Lord deep within you. Om. 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 Now, when you're meditating, who do you think you are? And when you're cleaning the bathroom or doing the dishes, who do you think you are? And when you're driving on Highway 17 and someone cuts you off, who do you think you are? Who do they think they are? What do you think you are? Honestly, none of us probably are who and what we usually think. It's very easy to slide into other kinds of identity quite separate from the deepest, truest reality that we are one with the divine. Maybe you find that easy to hold all the time. For me, it comes and goes. It slips. It's easier while we're meditating, and that's why I asked at the beginning, who are you when you're meditating? Because it's, I think, easier to hold that deep sense of it. One of the things that we talk about is this whole idea of reincarnation. And I think there's a superficial understanding of reincarnation, and that's common in the culture. Oh, you know, three incarnations ago, I was the king of France, or, 2 generations ago, I was a soldier in this army, or, whatever, sort of those kinds of things. Nothing wrong with that, but I think it misses one of the deepest lessons of reincarnation related to this question that I've been pushing. Who are you? Are you your last incarnation? I don't know if you remember that one, but your personality, your body, lots of things about you were quite different. What about the incarnation before that? Are you that one? How about this one? Are you sure that this is who you really are? This incarnation, this body? What about the next? You see where I'm going with this, right? One of the deepest lessons of reincarnation is that this stuff is a suit of clothes. Who we usually think we are is no more substantial than a t-shirt, which lasts for a time and then, becomes a paint rag and then on to, wherever it goes. But who are we in our deepest essence? So I'm going to come at this question in a variety of ways. And I'll start with a piece that Swami Kriyananda wrote. The self is not the self which one sees every morning in the mirror when combing his hair. Man tends to confuse his human body and personality with deeper realities of his being. Immortality for many believers means living through all eternity as essentially the same person, holier than now, perhaps, but with the ego and personality and even the body more or less intact. Joe Green, exalted in heavenly glory, is imagined as Joe Green, wearing a big smile as he wanders endlessly through green pastures, playing a harp of gold. Does that sound kind of familiar? A picture that many people hold? I think I held it at one point, yeah. But think about that. How would it be if you were wandering through endless fields of green, playing a harp? I don't know about you, but I'll take a pass. I don't want that. That doesn't sound like a good deal to me at all. I mean, it might be nice for a few minutes, but then no. I knew a man once, actually I've known many who would say the same thing, who said, oh, I'm not going to heaven, I'm going to hell, but at least I'm going to be there with my friends. You all know people like that, right? At least I'll be there with my friends. Now, it's based on kind of a narrow understanding of how this all works. Okay, but there's a kernel of truth in what that person was saying. And the kernel of truth is that human friendship actually can point us beyond itself. Friendship is really important. It's more important than wandering monotonously through fields of green with your golden harp. My friend didn't want anything to do with that kind of a scenario. And so he envisioned, well, I guess I'm not going there. I'll go someplace, but at least my friends are going to be there. It's a sort of an offhand, it's throwing it away. But the kernel of truth there is a reaching out to something of value, a connection to humans that points beyond itself. So who are you really? Among one other way to get at that question is you are those that you love. You don't merely love them, you in some level are them. There actually are no others. How do we treat others? There are no others. It's just one. Another string to pick up this whole question of identity is the language about being a sinner. And Yogananda used that language in a variety of ways, but he was really strong on the point of don't identify yourself as a sinner in your deepest level. He famously went to one of these, what you call revival meetings. I think it was Amy Semple McPherson, but I don't know for sure which of the revivalists that were current at that time of Yogananda. Anyway, the revivalist was in the middle of the sermon and said, "You're all sinners, get down on your knees." And Yogananda looked around and he was the only one standing because he would not identify himself as a sinner in the sense that revivalist was identifying everybody in the room as in their deepest essence. Now, certainly Yogananda did use that term, sinner, but he was very careful in drawing the distinction between who we are in our essence and external behavior. Has anyone here ever done anything kind of dumb that was hurtful to other people? Just checking. Yeah, a couple, three. Yeah, okay. That would be a sin. Okay, we can use that term with it. That's fine. But that's not who you are in your deepest essence. Okay. All of us mess up. We all miss the mark. We all, if you want to use that term, we all sin. Okay, fine. But our deepest essence, we are one with all that is. And we're growing through some of these other kinds of things. So this whole identity, which some people really hold, oh, that's who I am, does not serve. And then there's a flip side to this one too. It's tricky stuff. So, okay, I'm not going to identify myself as a sinner. I'm not a sinner. Okay, I'm not identifying as a sinner. And when somebody brings up something about myself that perhaps needs attention, needs work, needs change, oh, I'm not a sinner. So avoid any kind of growth, any kind of change by denying that I'm a sinner. Okay. So it's tricky business. That's why we need community. That's why we need guru. That's why we need teachings. It's a little hard to navigate some of the time through all of these things. Key point. Who are you? You're not a sinner. You're one with reality. Key point. That deep sense of who you are can be accessed in meditation. When you see others as they really are, treating people well is simply the natural thing to do because they are you. There are no others. There's a sense of connection that transcends a lot of what we ordinarily see. My parents have a place out in the woods in northern Minnesota. And one time there was a fairly bad windstorm and a tree in their yard was damaged by the storm. It was a nice birch tree. It had, several stalks, but the main big heavy trunk of the tree was broken and was laying on the yard. And so my dad and I were out there with the chainsaw and cleaning up the mess. And there was one little branch coming out of the stump that was not damaged, but we were just going to take everything and take the whole tree and just get it out of there. And Rosalva stopped, my wife stopped us and said, no, leave that little branch there, give it a chance. Okay. And now there's this big tree in my parents' yard that's called the Rosalva tree. because and that's actually something where I gap. I don't have nearly the kind of compassion for that level of living things that maybe I could have. Just the other day, I've got this project going. I'm going to put up a little cedar shed in my yard, right? And I had figured out where it was going to go. And then, oh, there's this little tree that's in the way. So, uh-oh. Do you think I'm going to cut that? Nuh-uh. Not in this household. No way. It's not going to happen. So I have to move that. I had to take down 6 feet of retaining wall to make it fit, and And there was a part of me that was resisting that for a bit. I was just like, it's just a little tree. I'll just take the saw. No. Can you find a way to have compassion even for that? Wow. That's a stretch for me. It's a stretch I'm making, though. I'm trying. Does it mean that every living thing you're going to have complete regard for all the time? I mean, you take a breath, you're going to knock off some viruses and some bacteria. You drive the car, you're going to take down a couple, 3 bugs on the way. We live in a world where you can't entirely do that. But I think, and here's the point, the intention to be kind, the intention to be life affirming, that's within our reach. That's within our grasp. We can have the intention to be kind to the plants, to all the animals, and to all the other human beings with whom we're in contact. And that intention, according to Jesus, counts more than the actual behavior. Isn't that interesting? Remember what I was reading? Oh, what was it? 20 minutes ago? Can we all remember? Anyway, Jesus is talking about that it's really the heart that matters. It really is. Makes all the difference. One last story about who we are. This is a story about a music contest. There were 2 great musicians in the kingdom. And the day came where the king declared there would be a contest to see who was the best musician. And there was a panel of judges, and a whole crowd gathered, and the first began to play. And oh my, it was amazing. This musician could make a stone weep. It was just breathtaking. And when the musician finished playing, the crowd just was silent for a second and then clapped, and it was, wow, how could you possibly excel that? And then the second musician began to play. And stunningly, amazingly, the second musician was equally good. The angels in heaven stopped and listened. It was incredible. And so then the panel who was supposed to judge the contest was stuck. We don't know. Tell you what, why don't you all play this duet and see how it goes? And we'll see what we can do to figure it out. And so in the duet, the first musician takes the lead part and again, sounds just amazing. And the other musician is playing the supporting part in the duet. So the one musician is prominently featured, and then the other, and this first musician sounds amazing. And then they reverse roles, and the second musician has got the prominent lead, and the first musician is playing, and it's clear. The second musician is sounding so much better during the duet than the first one did. And so many in the crowd are thinking, well, that's how it is. The second musician sounded better, so the second musician gets the prize. But then the panel came with a different judgment. The panel said, in a duet, The second role, the supporting role, is the one who makes the first one, the lead role, sound good. So when the second musician was sounding better, it was because the first musician was playing that supporting role superbly. Who's the better musician? The one who is not so much focused on shining, but the one who's focused on the music. In our life, when you do what you're designed to do, you might shine. You might get praise. You might, and those things are perfect and appropriate, and that's fine, but don't get caught. Some of the time, what you're going to be doing in life is a supporting role that may be understood by very few, maybe only by God. Focus on the music anyway, because really, that's all there is. The music, the love, the connection that we have, which is a connection of complete unity. Om. Peace. Amen. We'll now have a time for healing prayers. I'll lead us through the healing prayers, and I invite you to use our typical format. Friends, pray with me that, and then you offer your petition, and then everyone will respond, in thy light, receive this prayer. Now, it's a little trickier over Zoom. That's okay. We will proceed with our prayers. So we'll all offer petitions. Just unmute yourself when it's time, when it feels right for you to say your petition for your prayer. And then I'll bring us to a close at the end of this time. So friends, pray with me that my granddaughter Lily will continue her healing, and that the cancer will continue to shrink and be gone. In thy light, receive this prayer.
Friends, pray with me for continued healing for my cousin Mickey. She just had a lot of back surgery, so I'm just praying for her. In thy light, receive this prayer.
Friends, pray with me for all of our Ananda family, especially our Ananda family here in Ananda Monterey Bay, and really throughout the world. Give us the strength and the blessings to continue our growth, to prosper, to be happy. Most of all, be happy in Master's love. Friends, pray with me. In the light, receive this prayer.
Friends, pray with me. I just visited my friend a week or so ago. She's so compromised physically. She has all kinds of things wrong with her digestion. She is very, very limited in that way. She has a hard time walking because of her hip, and she's got stenosis of the spine, which is so compromising. She has a hard time sleeping. In thy light, receive this prayer.
Friends, pray with me for my friend Betty, who has the ongoing heart problem, who does not fit into anyone's programs or tests. So it's just whatever happens now. And also now her husband is in the hospital. He's compromised as well. He has COPD and a number of other physical issues, but it's an ongoing struggle. Please pray with me.
In thy light,
And I might receive this prayer.
all these things, O gracious God, and whatever else you see is needed in our world, grant the prayers of our hearts. Grant the prayers of those closest to us. Repeat after me. In thy light, Lord, receive these prayers.
In thy light, Lord, receive these prayers.
And now we'll say Om 3 times. Om. 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 And our service proper is ended. And we have time for satsang.